Good morning, everyone. We are live from San Antonio. We are on the Riverwalk. Today I'm going to be doing just a quick walking tour of the Riverwalk, checking out the sights and sounds here in San Antonio. So if you're new to the stream, new to the channel, welcome. I do the walking so you don't have to. Over here we have let's start the tour here. So over here we have the deepest part of the Riverwalk, which is about 20 feet deep. The Riverwalk came to be in 1941 after a great flood destroyed a lot of the city of San Antonio in the early 1920s. So let's go ahead and start this walk here. Right now it is about 8 a.m. So there are not too many people out here on the Riverwalk. It's not too hot, which is why I wanted to start the stream early. So we are approaching St. Mary Street. So in the 1920s there was a flood here in San Antonio that destroyed a lot of buildings, destroyed a lot of property, and some people died during that flood. So when that happened, the city of San Antonio was trying to find a way to prevent that from ever happening again. And in the 1930s, a man by the name of Robert Hugman came up with this idea to create the Riverwalk. And so the Riverwalk is a tourist attraction now. However, back then, they had this idea where they could create a system of canals, drains, alleyways, tunnels, etc. to prevent the flooding. And it's worked, because ever since then, there hasn't been a flood here in San Antonio that's been that deadly. Right now we are on what is known as Bowen's Island. The land here on what was formerly known as Bowen's Island belonged to a man and his wife who were originally from Philadelphia. And I believe there's a plaque somewhere over here dedicated to James Bowen. And along the Riverwalk you'll find like these beautiful little waterfalls. Here's the plaque that talks about Bowen's Island. So this was a natural peninsula to the San Antonio River. It was once bounded by the river on 3 sides, and on the 4th by the Conception Aquia. In 1845, John Bowen, who was a native of Philadelphia, bought this property from a woman named Maria Josefa Rodriguez for $300. So him and his wife had a 7-room home here on the island that they built, which would have been right over there. But James Bowen sold the land to the city, and he was buried here. Him and his wife were both buried here. And then when the city bought this property, they were moved out of their bodies were moved to a cemetery nearby. But pretty cool. So if I have any viewers from like Philadelphia or any like subscribers from Philadelphia, just know there's a little bit of a connection between Philly and San Antonio. So let me see if I can get a good shot of the building that is over here. Trying to get a shot of the Tower Life building, formerly known as the Smith Young Tower. It was built in 1927, or they started building it in 1927 and it was completed in 1929. It was once the tallest building here in San Antonio. see if I can get a good shot of it from the other side. Now this area here was once home to the Hemisphere Arena, which was torn down in the 1960s to make room for the Tower of the Americas, the convention center for the 1968 World's Fair. This building with these this building with these sculptures out here, these cowboys and these bulls. This is known as the Briscoe Western Art Museum. This building was built in 1924. It was originally the San Antonio Public Library from 1964 to 1968. And from 1968 to 2013, it was known as the Hertzberger Circus Museum. In 2013, they opened up the Briscoe Western Art Museum. It's named after the former governor of Texas, Adolph Briscoe. He was a huge fan of Western art and Western culture, so they wanted to have a museum dedicated to that. And that is how the city ended up getting that museum over there. There's some really cool art exhibits there, but unfortunately it's been closed for quite some time. Up here we have the small neighborhood known as La Villita, which in Spanish means small village. So La Villita is located on the south bank of the San Antonio Riverwalk. It's a short distance from the Mission San Antonio de Valero, which was settled here in the 1700s. So it's actually one of the oldest neighborhoods in Texas. And here's a map of La Villita. There are a number of churches throughout La Villita, as well as restaurants and other things there. It's been closed for quite some. A lot of areas in this La Villita have been closed for quite some time, so I won't go up there. But this is again La Villita, aka the little village of San Antonio. And over here we have what is known as Rosita's Bridge. Some people might think this is the bridge from the movie Selena, but it's actually not. It's actually further down. But Rosita's Bridge was dedicated to a singer named Rosita Fernandez. She helped build this bridge with the understanding of many cultures that make San Antonio the great place that it is. And also this is known as the Artisan River Theater. So over here they have performances, they have graduations, they have weddings. So if you ever come to San Antonio and you have some kind of event going on downtown at the Riverwalk, this is probably where they're gonna have it right over here. Check this out, you can sit right over here. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like a pyramid, like an Aztec pyramid. Anyway, let's keep moving. So we are approaching Alamo Street. Like I said, not a lot of people on the Riverwalk right now because it is early. And Alamo Street will take you to Hemisphere Park. And it is called Hemisphere Park, not people refer to it as Hemisphere, but it's Hemisphere, named after the 1968 World's Fair that happened here. And speaking of the 1968 World's Fair, this hotel that's right beside me is known as the Palacio del Rio Hotel. This hotel was actually built within 200 something days. The city needed a lot of space for the people coming to the World's Fair, so they needed to build a hotel and they needed to build it fast. It's kind of wet here. Dirty Nelly's Irish Pub, established 1974. So I was saying about that hotel. So that hotel was built in less than 200 something days. The city needed hotels for the World's Fair, and they needed them fast. So the hotel rooms were actually built 7 miles away from here, and they were stacked on top of each other. We are up at Market Street right now. Love these umbrellas right here. I'm gonna try to go this way. Sorry for the noise. Sorry for the noise. So this part of the Riverwalk right here was also built in the 1960s for the World's Fair. When they built the hotels, they wanted the people to be able to walk from the Riverwalk directly to their hotels into Hemisphere Park. So they created this extension right here. Check out that cool mural over there. Some butterfly wings. Now over here we have St. Joseph's Church. This is Commerce Street. So all this right here is a busy street here in downtown San Antonio. Runs along the Riverwalk. In the 1800s, it was known as Alameda, and it was San Antonio's earliest and major thoroughfare. This this cathedral was built in 1868. It was designed by a French immigrant named Theodore Girard. And then in 1889, they built the Joski's department store, which you can't really see it from here, but it would be right next to this church. And this is actually one of the oldest German churches in San Antonio. So let's keep walking towards River Center Mall, or Shops at River Center, and then we'll turn around and come right back. Now there is some artwork up here that I want to check out that I haven't been able to see yet. Maybe I'll stop and check that out first. If I can find it. So to the left is Commerce Street, to the right is Market Street. See lots of people walking up there. Ah, here it is. The San Antonio Riverwalk Public Art Garden. So the last time I was here, I wanted to check out the garden, but I didn't get a chance to. So, see what kind of cool artwork and murals we'll find there. So this should take us right back up to Market Street. Over there is the Tower of the Americas. Again, built for, so this is called Labor Plaza. and it's a collection of artwork along the along this park here. So here's one over here. See if we can find the other one. I don't see too many. I don't see too many of them. I don't see too many sculptures here. Well, when it said art garden, I was expecting actual art sculptures. That's a bit disappointing. Here's one. And this is supposed to be painted iron. It's by an artist named Sebastian, and it's been here since 1984. I know that the garden is somewhat new, so I don't know where it was before that. Might have just been in a museum somewhere. So here's another art piece of art over here. Let's see what this one is about. These are called the spheres of reflection. And these were put here in 2021. They kind of look like giant cannonballs. And if you look on the side, you have some words here like unity. There's brave. I'm not gonna turn around. Check out the other side. Okay, there's some more artwork over there. I wonder if at some point they're gonna have more of these sculptures, or more of this artwork, because I don't see a lot of it here. Oh, wait a second. There's some artwork right there. Those look like two flowers, like a dandelion and a daisy. Wow. See, why couldn't they put that up here instead of down there? Wow. Those are some really neat sculptures. And it's only 8 in the morning and I'm already sweating. But there's a little bit of a breeze, so I guess it's not too bad. I'm gonna head back down to the Riverwalk where it's cooler. You have the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center over here. A couple of hotels up ahead. San Antonio's biggest draw, or at least downtown, is tourism because of the Alamo, because of the Riverwalk, as well as other sites. So one thing that you won't have trouble finding here is a hotel for sure. But these are the shops at River Center Mall, formerly known as the Joskey's Building. It was opened by a German immigrant named Julian Joskey in the 1940s. And over here, this statue is a new addition to the Riverwalk. This is Satali. So Satali is also known as the Stargazer. People like to take photos with her. She's very photogenic. And Satali is made up of 50,000 pounds of Mexican volcanic ash. let's go say hi to Satami, or the Stargazer. And here's a little bit of more information about Satali. So she was created here by an artist named Pedro Reyes, and it's supposed to represent a woman gazing at the stars, hence the name, Stargazer. She was inspired by the traditions of San Antonio, and she was created to celebrate the city's more than 300 years of distinctive history and culture. Usually when I walk by her, there are a ton of people around, so it's kind of good to have the Riverwalk to myself, be able to do this virtual tour. But over there you have the one of the entrances to the shops at River Center Mall. Not really anything to see there, it's just your typical average mall. And I believe this is San Antonio. He's a Catholic saint, of course. I could be wrong, but I'm not familiar with my saints. But this was delivered to the city of San Antonio by the country of the city of Portugal. Which, by the way, is one place that I definitely want to visit one day. Walk sideways. Didn't want to get in nobody's way here with this gimbal. And this here talks about the missions in the San Antonio River Valley. So Spain ruled Mexico for 300 years, and that ended in 1821. So this talks about a little bit about the construction of the Alamo and the other missions, which somebody suggested I should visit those missions. I've actually never been there, even though I've lived here for many years. I've been to the Alamo, of course, but never to the other Spanish missions. I'm gonna have to check those out at some point. Can I go around here? Oh, so this was the hotel I was trying to get in my shot earlier. As you can see, it has kind of like a unique style of building. That's because each of those rooms was built 7 miles away from here. And the rooms were stacked on top of one another. So it took them about 266 days, I believe, to complete this hotel. It is now known as the Hilton Palacio del Rio. And we'll make our way back over to the main section of the Riverwalk. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Action Kid for stopping by San Antonio and filming this. Action Kid was one of the first YouTubers that I watched that did these type of videos that inspired me back when he was in New York. So for him to come to San Antonio and do this is actually kind of cool. So here is a close-up of that mural that we saw from across the Riverwalk over there. If you want to find more artwork from this artist on social media, you can check out Kelsey Montague's art, and hashtag what lifts you, hashtag essay preservation. So it's kind of cool because in these butterfly wings you can kind of see some of the missions right here, some of the buildings. in downtown San Antonio. Looks like, I'm not sure what that's supposed to represent. Yeah, this is a really cool mural. You'll find artwork like this all over the Riverwalk. And there is a shot of the Tower Life building. Again, I could not get that in my shot when I started this walk. But that building was built in 1929, formerly known as the Smith-Young Tower. There were actually plans to build more buildings just like that here, but unfortunately in the 1930s, when the Depression happened, those plans were never fulfilled. But yeah, again, shout out to Action Kid for coming here and filming this. Hopefully you can come back soon and check out more of the city of San Antonio. And shout out to my friend Manny Explores, also in New Jersey. Another inspiration of mine who told me, you know, go ahead and do these videos. People will like them, people will watch them. So I thought I'd go ahead and give it a shot. Check out these umbrellas over there. Very colorful. This looks like a postcard. And over there, that's the former office of Robert Hugman, who was the architect of the Riverwalk. Designed all of this. Not just as a tourist attraction, but designed it again to prevent the city from ever having a flood. You have the Casa Rio Mexican restaurant. We're walking underneath Commerce Street now, on the other side of Commerce Street, near this over there. And I think more people are starting to wake up now, because I see a lot more foot traffic on the Riverwalk coming up behind me. So that's where we came from. We came from the Arneson River Theater. We passed up the Briscoe Art Museum. We passed up La Villita. The Alamo is that way. There is a statue of Robert Hugman. Right over there. Very hot. I'm gonna put the gimbal down for a second. Get a drink of water. But enjoy the Riverwalk. In the shot. So let's continue down the Riverwalk here. I'm actually looking for something that I wanted to show you all, but I don't see it. I think it's over here. So if you're familiar with the singer Selena Quintanilla, she actually filmed a music video right here at one of these tables. There was like a palm tree in the music video. But in the music video for No Me Queda Más, she sits at one of these tables, and that's when she receives a rose and a letter that she's being broken up with. And you can tell that it's the same spot because you can see the same umbrellas in the video. Sometimes on the weekend it does get very crowded here, which is why a lot of locals kind of avoid it, to be honest. I'm gonna cross over to the other side.
Two boys and a girl.
Good morning. I've heard tour guides refer to this part of the Riverwalk as Restaurant Row, mainly because there are a lot of restaurants on this part of the Riverwalk. Some of them are just like your typical chain restaurants. Some of them are local. Here's a gift shop. You buy all kind of souvenirs here at the 5 and Dime. You can catch a shuttle that takes you around the Riverwalk. But of course right now it is early, so there are no shuttles. I think they start departing at around 10 o'clock. And you can get a good narrated tour of the Riverwalk. Or you can watch this video and get a free walking tour. So we are coming up to Crockett Street. And if you're on the Riverwalk and you're trying to get to the Alamo, you don't want to go all the way back around. You can actually go through that hotel over there, and it'll take you directly in front of the Alamo. Just got to be careful here because it's very slippery, very narrow and very slippery. Those stairs up there will take you to Houston Street. Find some pretty good restaurants up there, pretty good bars. See another restaurant right over to my left here. Actually, I think this might be the Hard Rock Cafe. Yeah, so this is the Hard Rock Cafe. This Hard Rock Cafe here opened in 1995. One of the first performers that ever performed here at the Hard Rock Cafe was Selena Quintanilla. So inside this Hard Rock Cafe, they have some memorabilia dedicated to Selena, and they have a piece of the stage where Selena performed inside here. And at the front of this building on the street level, there is actually a star dedicated to Selena. Sadly, it would be one of her last performances, as you know, later that year in 1995 she was killed. I still remember where I was when that happened. Very surreal. Riverwalk does continue for about 15 miles north and south. Not all of the Riverwalk looks like this. A lot of parts of the Riverwalk look more like a park. have a lot of dirt trails and a lot more trees. But this is the busiest part of the Riverwalk. Usually on weekends, holidays, and there's a lot of tourists visiting the city. And that over there is the Salina Bridge, or what people refer to as the Salina Bridge. Now the reason that people refer to it as the Salina Bridge is because in the 1997 movie, Jennifer Lopez, who played Selena, actually sat right there in the middle of that bridge. It was, from what I've seen, that scene was recorded at around 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was supposed to emulate nighttime here at the Riverwalk. Which, by the way, the Riverwalk during nighttime is very beautiful. You know, I like the Riverwalk here, but definitely at nighttime it's a lot nicer with all the lights lit up. Let's see if we can go to the same spot where Jennifer Lopez was in the movie. Bridge here is dedicated to Robert Hugman, the father of the Riverwalk. Died on July 22nd, 1980. His passing was not too long ago. People were trying to get me to go to that restaurant. That looks fancy. Guy got a suit on and everything. But yeah, so this spot right here, this is where the movie Selena was filmed. So Jennifer Lopez sits right here. And this is where Selena says her life is going to change forever. So how cool is that? And I think I've walked enough of the Riverwalk already, at least from a walking tour perspective. I'll go ahead and shoot a little bit more. And the stream here. I'll let this video hit for 30 seconds. Put a minute mark before we end it. Some more waterfalls right there. Gotta get out the way. Watch this on the replay, because I don't think anybody caught this live, but if you watch this on the replay, thank you very much for watching this. Give me your feedback, give me some commentary, tell me some things about San Antonio that I don't know, and tell me where you're watching from. Leave a comment down below, subscribe. I'll be doing more of these types of vlogs around my city, giving you guys the history of San Antonio, you know, not just walking around. Well, we'll end it right across the Hard Rock Cafe.
actual